Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Clip It podcast, episode 49. I actually remembered it. That is phenomenal. I can't believe it. But we are officially in season 3. We are kicking this off with an episode that I haven't done one like this in a while. We're going back to the roots of the Clip It podcast, something for you guys to listen to get out of the world which we live in, somewhere that you can listen to 3 good friends talk about something they love, which is gaming. So, we've got a couple topics today. I know I actually prepared, and they're pretty interesting in my opinion. So, we'll get into those in a moment. I've said so many way too many times. So, I'll introduce the 2 fantastic co-hosts we have on today, Agent Oink
So, I'm Agent Oink.
and Delicious.
I really need to prep an intro.
So do I, apparently. How are we both doing?
Yeah, so I'm doing alright.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much the same.
Brilliant.
I'm glad to be back. It feels like we say that a lot every episode.
How many
but we'll-
years has it
We'll
been?
commit.
Well, when I
6 maybe.
did the last episode, that was, I think,
Oh, by
6 months
yourself.
after
Oh, yeah.
the previous one. Maybe 4. It was a long time. But we are back to this, and I have a few plans for season 3. I've already got a special guest, not booked, but interested to do another episode. So I'm going to try and get that sorted with them.
Ryan Reynolds?
Imagine. No, it's actually Nerd Cubed. No. Just do a cameo with him and just get him on for 5 seconds.
Hell yeah.
True.
But no, season 3 is just sort of the best of everything I've learned over the last 2 seasons. But we're doing topics now. We're doing gaming stuff because something I noticed over the last couple of episodes is just that we haven't really spoken that much on what we're too interested in, what we started it on. You know, I originally started the podcast going back years now as the Cock Podcast, which was meant to be a gaming show. It was meant to be a podcast where... this is going back years now. The original idea for the podcast was just playing games and then a couple mates talking. That was the first, maybe even second and third episode. And then we changed it to the classic, the format that we use now and that we're currently sticking to. But it kind of just went off the ring. We went on talking about other things. And, you know, the special guest episodes don't count. You know, we had Sarcastic Brits who went into video editing. And the business side of stuff. I'm trying to think of special guests now that we've had on. We've had, like, I want to say, like, Human Shields, Love Mir, Ickle Nuke. You know, they're all gaming related. We all spoke about gaming, their history, and what they do. I'm just trying to think of any special guests that we had that haven't spoken about gaming, and I can't think of any off the top of my head, apart from Sarcastic Brit.
Everything's gaming, media, or content related, I would say. Like if you widen that from gaming a little bit, like I'd say it all falls into that category somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you on that. So, talking about gaming, let's get into our first topic, which is a big one. At least, it's a big one in the gaming world. I don't think us 3 are that interested. I'm curious, but I'm not like Call of Duty interested in this.
I'd say I'm interested in I'm not sure how to word it. I'm interested in it, but I'm not like interested personally in it. I think it'll be interesting, but I don't think I care much myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to feign that I don't know what the topic is. Oh my god, what could it be?
It's Grand Theft Auto 6.
No
What?
way.
6 comes after 5.
You know,
Seriously?
most companies don't even know how to count, apparently. But yes,
True.
Grand Theft Auto. We don't. Okay, so we're just gonna preface this.
Well, it is the 16th release, to be fair, in the Grand Theft Auto series,
very
that being
true.
said. So,
I just want to preface this. This isn't confirmed Grand Theft Auto 6. It's confirmed Grand Theft Auto. We could just only assume it's Grand Theft Auto 6. And so, Rockstar, I think it was 2 weeks ago, last week was it, or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. tweeted out saying that they will be revealing a new Grand Theft Auto game. I think I don't know if they worded it as in early December or just December, but we will find out next month. We will be getting a reveal trailer, probably no more than that. And I think Agent Oink hit it perfectly on the head when we spoke about this, or when I put the announcement in our chat, saying that it's most likely going to be at the Gaming Awards or sometime around then.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain that it will be at the show, just because they haven't. Like, I feel like they would have just said that. Why would you say early December when you could also generate more hype by just saying like at the Game Awards? But certainly like a couple days before or something, possibly like December 5th or something, they'll just be like, "Yay!" and then they'll sort of take some attention away from that.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
It. The thing is, it could also just so. I'm interested to see what they do. I am very curious what it's actually going to be. I know for a fact, and this is something I had a huge argument with someone the other week, is I know for a fact it's not going to live up to the hype at all. I don't believe it ever could. Being in development for 10 years, oh, we don't know how long it's actually technically been in development for. I don't think it could ever live up to the hype GTA 5 had. So we'll see. I'm like I don't know what I don't know what I want to see from the game is the honest truth. GTA 5 I think was a fantastic game when it came out. The story was great. It was unique. It was something that we hadn't seen really that before. And I'm like, what can GTA 6 do? Is that's where I'm stuck at now as a gaming fan, as someone interested in gaming and interested in Grand Theft Auto. I don't know what they can do for it to be this fantastic new experience that is gonna be amazing to play.
I think every GTA has been spearheaded by innovation in some part of its gameplay. In the it's not that the games are like not to say that they're not special in some way or that GTA 5 like doesn't deserve to have been as popular as it was because it was a good game.
Yeah.
But it's more sort of like, GTA 5 for the time it released, looking back, not really by modern standards, but for the time it released, it was a very wide, like all-encompassing game with quite a detailed set of characters and quite a well sort of built world. Um, and it had all the same shit that people had come to expect from GTA that you can just sort of fuck about with. Um, but I'm not sure what that is for GTA 6 because again with Red Dead Redemption 2, their version in that situation was the sort of like immersion and pacing they built into how you interacted with the game systems, right?
Mm.
Everything was animated really tenderly and so that sort of forced you to play in a specific way. Which some people didn't like at all, and some people quite liked, and it was a very sort of divisive thing. And obviously, I don't think they're gonna do something like that exactly for GTA 6, but I feel like if you just imagine that GTA 6 is GTA 5 set in different place with different characters in moderner engine, I don't think
Hmm.
it's gonna be as popular. It because like, that doesn't sound bad inherently, but it just like, it also just sounds like, well, what does it have going for it? Like,
Yeah.
it needs something more specific. So I'm hoping that there's some sort of, like, more exciting thing, whether that's, like, some sort of engine thing or, like, gameplay system or whatever that you know, they're sort of centering a lot of the focus around, like, in the way that they've done that in the past with every GTA pretty much, and certainly Red Dead Redemption 2 was a relatively speaking recent example for them.
Mm. Yeah. Well, GTA 5 obviously the character swap before that game there was that I can think of there was no game that did it so intuitively and in a manner that worked really well with the story. That's what made that game extremely unique, at least the single player. Um, and it worked really well to it. We'd had games much bigger than that story wise. Map wise, but it was still a massive map. It was just as you said, the detail in it, and I think the way they interacted the story with the map and how it all worked, was fantastic for the time. And yeah, it's just like what what is the next big thing for GTA 6? I feel like they're going to do the same character swap system. I hope they don't, but that just something tells me they do. Nice.
Damn, you don't want them to?
I don't know. I want them to do something new and unique, if that's even possible. You know? Well, obviously it's possible, but like, what can they do?
Here's a question. GTA has always been a game series that deals with quite adult themes.
Mm.
Um, and I don't mean that in the sense of its comedy. I mean that more in the sense of it talking about, um, you know, very very like adult topics around crime, class consciousness, racial
Yeah.
disparity, stuff like that, right? Which has been very present throughout the whole series. Would it be interesting if the GTA 6 story was told through the perspective of multiple different characters, where like you stop with you stop following a character at a point where they exit the story effectively. So say you come in and you're playing as like Jim
Mm.
Jimerson or whatever, and then Jim Jimerson gets like arrested, and then you start playing as like someone that was previously like a side character or whatever, and it like transfers between different perspectives to tell the story from like a lot of different viewpoints. I
Mm-mm.
think that could be hard to implement, but it's like that's something that I think is interesting that I've not really seen done in that sort of way. I mean, there's like similar types of it, but not like inside a particular narrative, like one narrative.
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't know, that's like me reaching for stores to come up with something though. Like I don't know what other things there are really.
Yeah, the other thing is the multiplayer. You know, GTA 5's multiplayer was unique in the sense that I think it was. Oh, it was what? It was 20. No, it was 12 players, I think, on the original consoles. Um, or 24. I can't remember exactly. But it was going from 4 to 12 or 24 was big for GTA, especially in the multiplayer. Then we got the heists, which was a huge thing for the game. It took way too long for them to bring them out, but it was a huge thing for the game. And then all of the custom, races, game modes, and that, we kept that game going for a fairly long time. And then 5M we won't even get into, but then that's kept that game not relevant, but mostly going
I
until
mean, I
now.
think it's also worth mentioning that I would agree that GTA Online is not like it doesn't have the same user base that it once did right
No,
now,
yeah,
and that 5M helped extend the legacy of the game from that perspective. But in terms of Rockstar's perspective of as a viable product, profitability, GTA Online is still making profit from all the reports that I've seen and
yeah.
heard about.
Yeah.
Like that, it's still fine. So like, I don't see why they wouldn't update current GTA Online into the GTA 6 engine or do some sort of cross thing where like both worlds are gonna be in GTA Online or whatever. Because like, why wouldn't they? I mean, it's like got to be in their interest, surely.
That's the thing. I'm interested to see what they do because that would be similar to what Call of Duty are doing now, in the sense that the new Modern Warfare, you can use all of the previous games guns in the new one. A lot of the a lot of the progression carries over, and there's a lot of cross progression that is currently in the game. And there's a lot of people that say that's a good and bad thing. There's a huge debate on is it really what we wanted. Um, there's plenty of ways they could have changed that, and we'll get into that later. But I don't know how I'd feel about that. I honestly don't. I can understand from the point of view of these people that have spent, a fair whack on shark cards, dare I say it, not wanting to lose out on their stuff. But I don't know how they could, from the information we roughly have, I don't know how they could conveniently do it in a way that makes sense, especially for the game.
I definitely think they could just leave GTA Online as it is.
Yeah,
They could just not have any. They could have multiplayer even, but not any like GTA Online equivalent type stuff in the new
fair.
one.
Yeah.
And like, I think that would be disappointing to a lot of people, but I don't think it would affect them or like the super dedicated, for lack of a better term, GTA Online players.
I would like them to see, like, I was talking to someone about game modes. I'd like to see them push heavily on something like Cops and Robbers or something like that. Or like, because again, the big thing in the multiplayer from GTA 5 was heists. What's the next big thing?
Yeah.
Someone I was talking to said that apparently it's rumored that they're going to work on something like an integrated 5M or integrated RP. I don't think that's a good idea personally, but it really depends on how they do it. Um,
It's a big market.
yeah,
I
it
could
is.
definitely see why they'd be interested.
I could see if they made it like a separate thing, or like it's like, yeah, I don't know how I'd like to see them do it. It's also like, do we want a multiplayer if it is its own thing with thousands of players on one server, or so like to the point where you don't need NPCs, or just how it is currently, where I think it's 64 on the current GTA 5 servers. Like, which would we prefer?
I mean, if you wanted to have the level of like coverage without NPCs, I mean, that would be that's a lot of people.
I think it's possible though.
But are they going to be playing as normal players, or is it going to be in a role play context? At which case we're going to like any GTA server is going to need like a fucking half the world's population to just sit and walk down a street and then go, "What the fuck are you doing?" when you walk past them? Like,
You'll get that easily.
I mean, I'd be interested to see how that would work on a scale of that sort of size, but I'm not sure it's viable.
Hey, look, if they did that, that's something new and different, and nobody expected it.
It would be interesting. I'll give them that.
Certainly, certainly. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this announcement in December is a little rushed, because GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, sorry, came out in 2013. So it was its 10th year anniversary a couple months ago. Sorry, I think it was a couple weeks ago. They did put an announcement up for it. And so it does kind of feel a little rushed, in a sense that they just wanted to try and get something out on the 10-year anniversary. Otherwise, they would have done it on the 10-year anniversary, in my opinion.
They're announcing it for the 25th anniversary of Rockstar.
Are they actually?
Yeah,
When's that?
December. I
Do we
don't know the
know?
exact date.
Okay.
It's there's the opening lines of the statement. You didn't do much research. You said you did research for
The
these topics.
research I did was on GTA 5. I can tell you that it cost 265
Fair enough.
million to make. I think there's a rough number for the new one, but I don't. It's obviously completely just not. I guess it's completely made up. It's like a rough number of like half a billion. I think they roughly estimated it at maybe 600 million. The peak player count on Steam, which I thought was really low in my opinion, but maybe it isn't, is 360,000 players on Steam. I thought that would have been fairly higher, but I guess it was being split between 4 consoles at the time it came out on PC, I think. And obviously, oh no, it didn't come out on Epic until quite a bit later. So yeah, it was split between 4 consoles, and then when it came out on PC, it was quite a split player base. And I've also gotten really here that it's come out on 3 console generations, GTA 5. How long do you think they're gonna try and last GTA 6? Do we think they're gonna try and milk the shit out of it like they have 5, or they're just gonna see how it goes and just do the next project?
I think if you look at the legacy of Rockstar as a company, and you look at their multiplayer implementations over the years, there is a trend in one direction, and it's a trend towards more aggressive monetization,
Mm,
more aggressive like dark patterns and capturing of people that are struggle with addiction, whatever you want to call it, right? And so I don't see any reason why, if they are going to do something for GTA 6 or whatever the next one is, that it wouldn't be at absolute minimum equally comparable to how bad GTA Online is in that regard, if not worse. I think it's very likely to be more pre-planned to be dragged out longer.
mm.
So probably with launch of a lot more capability than GTA Online did. Um, And yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not even like joking in that I like think it could be viable that there could be like a GTA 6 online battle pass where it's like play in the current season and you'll get like cool outfits that are unique, right? And then you get the FOMO aspect, and then people are spending their shark cards on their battle pass.
Yeah.
And or maybe they get like a unique apartment in the game, or whatever the hell it is. Like there's so many things like that that they could do.
I'm
Um,
actually surprised they haven't done that. Is there not a battle pass in GTA 5?
I have no
I
idea.
don't think there is.
Not the last time I played, but it's been let me open Steam very quickly. It's been since 2019. That's more recent than I thought, to be fair.
A lot longer. There's a lot happened in the game since 2019. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. But like, look, we've got a casino. We better get a casino again.
Yes.
I want to see them partner with like a real life casino, as in like I want to see like I don't want to see this, to be clear. This is parody, just to defend myself. I want to see like not the GTA Online casino, but like like Stake.com casino inside GTA, where you're like gambling with actual real life currency of some form.
One better. This is parody, by the way. It's Kick. So it's actual streamers betting in the shop.
There's just like a model of Aiden Ross.
For God's sake. You got anything to say on this, Delicious?
I definitely think that they're gonna be even more predatory than they were before. There's no way they wouldn't.
Mm.
And that's just unfortunately the way things are going. Not that it's a good thing or the right thing at all.
Here's a silly question. Were they that
Yeah.
predatory in GTA? In Red Dead, sorry.
In general? Oh, okay.
Original Red Dead.
No, the new one.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I played the multiplayer a fair amount with my partner, and there was a lot of stuff that you had to buy with premium currency, but there were easy ways to make it. So I
As far
don't
as I
remember.
understand it, not being an expert on Red Dead R2 multiplayer, but or online, whatever the hell it's officially called. Um, it's definitely not as like verbosely predatory as GTA Online, from my understanding. But it's definitely still like it's more pay to win than it is like predatory. I think from
Oh,
what I've
fair.
seen, but I've not seen a huge amount, to be fair. But all I know about RDR2 multiplayer is it just makes me sad and miss RDR1 multiplayer because goddamn, that was some fucking fun.
RDR1
That
was
whole
great.
game honestly, it's still top 5 games of all time.
It always confused me as a kid how RDR1 had servers where you could get like in a way modern GTA 5 where it was like big worlds with multiple players, and you had GTA 4 that was 4 player. It was basically co-op. That always confused me. That's why I always played RDR, because it was just a better multiplayer. Um,
It was a
I
great
do miss it.
multiplayer.
It was a
Genuinely one of the
fantastic.
best multiplayers of its time.
Yeah, I would 100% agree on that. Yeah, no, I'm interested to see what they do with GTA 6. If that's even what they announce. I hope to God it is GTA 5 on mobile. I think that would be quite funny. um, but yeah, no, I don't think it's going to live up to its hype in the slightest. I don't think. I hope it does well. I hope it has a fun multiplayer. I'm certainly going to play it, but I hope it has a fun multiplayer. I just hope they don't do the same mistakes they made in 5, which they are most definitely going to. Any last notes on GTA 5, GTA 6 from you two?
You keep jumping back to GTA 5.
It's because I have it written down and I look at it every now and then. I read it.
No.
No, nothing major. Like I say, not super interested personally. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I can't really comment much on like whether I think it will live up to the hype, because obviously it's hyped in that it's a GTA game, but like I don't know a single person who cares. Like I don't follow or am involved in like anyone that gives a shit. It's like, oh, a new GTA, okay, cool, and
Yeah.
move on. So I don't know. Maybe it'll live up to the hype, but I don't really know what the hype is.
And was that a no from you? Sorry, Delicious.
No, I think pretty much all the topics on it have come and gone.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, are we going to get a? Is that going to be a revival from the Delicious channel? GTA
Maybe.
6
One
funny
day.
moments.
One day.
One day.
She needs to come back.
Mate, that channel. I don't want to say the channel's died, because I want it to come back, and when something dies, it doesn't come back.
It's
So
fucking
I
dead.
believe.
It's
Talking
on
about
hiatus.
talking about dying, Owl, Overwatch League is. I put
dead.
dying, but you apparently have confirmed that
You
it
got
is
the old
dead.
news.
Yeah.
It is dead. It is confirmed. Fucking gone.
So in my notes, I have the first note is Alfie lead. So
It's true. Yeah. So Overwatch League is, my personally for me, it's like the esport that I love. Right. It is the specific subsection of all of esports that like most connected with me. That's for a few reasons,
Mm.
but ultimately, I think like the summary reason is that it was a very different product. Most of it esports, right? Esports has been a thing that's grown for a long time, quite grassroots in most cases initially for different games. And at various different points for different games, companies have supported it in a first party sense, in a sort of supporting second party sense. It's been a mix. And so you look at something like CS, and stripping back all the reasons that I like also just don't enjoy CS as much as a game to play or watch. Like if you ignore all of that, like the way the circuits are set up, um, is a lot more open, and that has a lot of benefits that the Overwatch League didn't have. But it also has a lot of negatives that the Overwatch League didn't have, in my opinion, right? In that it creates like teams that like come and go, and it changes, and you get a lot less stories, and it
Mm.
makes the product a lot less unified because it's like, with the Overwatch League, it was like, "Oh, yeah, it's Overwatch League season 2, and it's Overwatch League season 3." Not like, "Oh, where's the
Mm.
major this year? What majors are there this year? What's this team that I've never heard of before?" "Who's this player that I've never heard of?" Like, it was a more, like, specific, more tightly knit way of doing it.
Yeah.
Um, the original vision was interesting. I don't think it was ever realistically gonna make the sort of money that they expected it to make. It's a franchise league. And it was, I think, a $20 million buyout if I remember correctly. So the teams paid $20 million to Blizzard to get an opportunity to run a spot. Um, and the basic summary is that it failed as a project. It failed for numerous reasons. It failed because of um, the project potentially, depending on your opinion, being untenable. It
Mm.
failed because of COVID stopping live events, which really that really hindered things. Um, because in 2019, 2020 was when they were gonna go hard with live events around the world, and then COVID happened, and it just all fell through, and it
Yeah.
caused a lot of disruption. And so, yeah, the current situation is that basically the last season ended, and everyone was sort of like, "What's gonna happen?" Because we sort of all had the rumors, everyone knew it was coming. Then it basically came out, Overactive Media, the owners of Toronto Defiant, um, they basically made a statement that was like, "We've negotiated a deal with the Overwatch League to be like, hey, we're gonna pay less of these fees because we don't think we should have to pay all the fees because the product that the league said it was gonna be when we agreed to this contract isn't a thing anymore, right? Like, we don't have all of these live events happening around the world, blah, 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 blah. Why should we have to pay if none of this stuff has happened?" And the league was like, "Yeah, sure." And then they also sort of effectively said that we've, um like, negotiated some better terms for teams to, like, have more influence over the structure and operations of the league. What that boiled down to is an agreement was proposed to all of the existing teams, and they were given the option to vote for or against the agreement. If they voted for it, then the Overwatch League would continue in a new form. We don't know incredible details of what that agreement said the form would be. It would have been fairly significant change to the format, presumably, but
Mm.
we don't know. Uh, but the key problem for the Overwatch League in that regard is that about a quarter of the teams are based in China, and Overwatch isn't playable in China. So aside from any of the financial reasons, none of those teams had any reason, even if it was the most financially viable league, to vote yes for that because they literally can't play the game. Like, it
Mm.
was a very stupid situation in that sense. So that vote failed. It did not pass, and as such, the league is dead. That's it. It's ended. Over. Gone.
It
That's me
is.
leading.
That is. It's very sad because I did some basic information here, and you can correct me on any of these if they're wrong. But from
I'm excited
my,
for this.
I find this upsetting because from a sense of, for a lot of people, this is their job. So all
Oh,
the
yeah.
casters, even to the people that work behind the scenes, the people that help the league run, the people that run the streams, the people that do all the production side of it, the people that make the sets and all that. That's a job gone. I found out, I think there's roughly about 160 players that played in the league. I think that was last season.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Um, that's quite unfortunate. Like, that is sad because that is a game they have spent countless hours into. I would assume as well some of the younger ones, they grew up into the game. And now
Yeah,
it's gone.
And
you know?
especially this past season, we've had like over the different years of the Overwatch League, you've had different amounts. Like obviously, the first year doesn't really count because it's a completely new um, tier one version of Overwatch esports at
Yeah.
that time, coming up from the existing tier two stuff. But um, over the years, each season has been pinned by like, oh, there's a bunch of rookies this season, or oh, there's no rookies this season, right? And like this past like couple seasons, we've had quite a lot of like newer players that came in over the past couple years that really shone. I mean, like, you look at people on, like, the Florida Mayhem, right? The people who
Mm.
won it this year, the champions, who are awesome. Florida Mayhem, great team. RIP. Um, you've got players like someone who's this, really young when he joined or when he started playing Overwatch professionally at all, but young when he joined the team. Um and was doubted very heavily. When he was scouted, there was a lot of people that were incredibly critical of Florida for scouting him, and the season had passed, like, not this previous one, but the one before that. They didn't have a great performance. They weren't terrible, but it wasn't a particularly good performance, and everyone was like, "Oh, yeah, look at this dude, he just can't live up to the likes of Fearless and, these very incredibly well-respected Winston players," for example, right?
Mm.
And then this year, he just I mean, over the last year as well, but from the start of this year was insane. I mean, just has been one of the most flexible tanks in the game. The transition into Overwatch 2 obviously made a big difference on the game because you move from off tanks and main tanks to either having to sign 2 tank players and have them swap in and out for the roles, or have someone that's hyper flexible. And hyper flexibility in Overwatch is always rare. It's rare on any role that someone can cover that many different characters. And someone was just fundamentally, I think, undeniably the best in the game at it. Like, capable of playing every single tank to, at minimum, an incredibly good level, and your Sigma and your Winston to an absolutely supreme level. Um, and, there's a lot of shame for players like that because this is the first season that someone's really, managed to pop off and actually, like, demonstrate, "No, I do fucking deserve to be in this position." And now
Yeah.
that's just gone. That's just like, the opportunities now are playing in the occasionally, Blizzard run Flash Ops tournaments, which are just sort of like mini tournaments that happen occasionally, and the Saudi E-League, which has its own host of problems for numerous reasons, including recently someone not getting out of bed, and then Shy, who's a a very well respected Overwatch player who had flown into Saudi Arabia, could no longer play because their entire team's match was cancelled because someone didn't get out of bed. They just, like, wasted, like, 16 hours on a plane flight for nothing. There was a whole load of drama around
Ooh.
that. It's very funny.
That is, yeah, that is. It is a disappointing thing because it's not often you see such a big league in gaming just collapse in the way Owl has. To be honest, I can't think of any examples. But it's just disappointing for viewers, for gamers, um, for dare I say it, investors? No. But like for everybody involved in it, it is just a very disappointing thing. And you know, some people were a little lucky, like casters. I know some have transitioned over to other games like Valorant, and can carry on doing similar things. But it's not as easy for everybody.
I think that there's a lot to be said. I apologize in some sense. I know I'm ranting a lot about this, but Overwatch League is very important to me. There's so much that the Overwatch League pioneered, and I think one of the reason that there's not like a comparable event of such a thing collapsing is that there isn't an equivalent. The
Mm,
nearest esports system to Overwatch League is Valorant, and it's completely different. But it's only nearest in that they still have franchising.
yeah.
Um, and Valorant esports is absurdly overinflated in player salaries. It's crazy the numbers that those players get paid. It's completely unsustainable, and it doesn't make a lick of a profit. And that's not to say that the Overwatch League made much of a profit because it barely scraped any profit at all. But it's that in the Overwatch League, player salary minimums were 50,000 USD. That's a reasonable amount to
Mm,
pay a player. And it's not me saying that they shouldn't be paid more. Like, it wouldn't be nice for them. I'm sure it would be lovely. But you've got Valorant players that are pretty shit being paid millions because Valorant is just super hyped up right now in the esports world.
yeah.
Um, you know, at the time that the Overwatch League started, it was standard in the industry for casters to be paid a day rate, as far as I understand it, right? The Overwatch League was the first league of any esport anywhere to salary casters. Full year time salary. They were just salaried, just paid a wage. And that's a major change for them, their ecosystem. That gives them a lot of security. It gives them, a lot less time that they have to spend chasing the next job, right? And next event
Yeah.
that they get to work. There's a lot of exclusivity in esports as well, with casters not being allowed to work in competing games, right? And the Overwatch League was relatively more lax on that. You couldn't work, as far as I understand it, in a direct competition game, so you couldn't cast Overwatch League and say Apex or Valorant, but you could cast like League of Legends, Dota, anything like that, right? Like I think even CS would have technically been allowed.
Fair.
So as long as it wasn't considered like a moderate competition, you're allowed to do that and work those jobs at the same effective time as Overwatch League. Um, One thing I'll criticize it for is that those agreements did vary per caster. There was favoritism in a sense there for their more but for super well-known, super popular, super high value casters to them that they were gonna pay out a lot for anyway, like Uber, Mitch Uber Leslie. Um, but, he was definitely given a more favorable opportunities and negotiations than some of the newer casters would have been, and that's something that I do think is worth highlighting in that sense.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot that the league did that is super unique, and other esport scenes have since learnt from and taken inspiration from, right? In terms of player salaries and stuff, right? That's something that Valorant is gonna have to come to terms with. Valorant is not gonna have the salaries it has now in 5 years.
Yeah.
Not a chance, right? Um, and I think the league was in a really good state in terms of like understanding that esports has to be sustainable in some sense. And as much as esports is a very hype thing, it's got a lot of venture capital money, a lot of investment money. Um, if you want any esports system to continue it, that you have to rein things in on talent salaries. You have to rein things in on player salaries. You have to create a viable product that is tightly knit and does one thing really well, and also doesn't take itself too seriously. Too
Mm.
many esports take themselves really seriously, and they have like to me coming from Overwatch League, where like for a long time they've been very comfortable being self-critical and making fun of the product and being stupid silly and having desk talent do tour 1v1s with pro players for jokes and signing to desk talent to a team temporarily on a one-day contract for a joke, stuff like that. Just like really stupid and silly. Like some other esports are so serious about how they handle themselves, and it's kind of jarring. Because you do, I think it's better. Like I think all
Yeah.
esports is better if you let a bit of player personality and talent personality shine through, rather than trying to take it as seriously as meat sports, because it just they're not the same thing, and you can't cast a game of Valorant the same way you cast a match of snooker. It doesn't like that's not how it works. They're different types of product.
Though I would love to see that.
That would be quite entertaining. We should do an event where we get casters from different things to all swap. I want like a big swap.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's an unfortunate time to be an Overwatch League fan. But I think the only good thing to come out of it was the fact that Delicious finally got confirmation that the original Orisa was the best.
I
That
didn't
is
need
true.
confirmation.
So
I always knew that was the truth.
Look, I highly doubt that there's anyone that will listen to this that knows anything about the Overwatch League. If there is anyone that knows anything about the Overwatch League, um, they will have opinions about Gator, I imagine, and they will have a lot of opinions about Gator as a coach, and they'll have a lot of opinions about Gator as an individual. And so I'd be interested to know what their opinion on Gator saying Old Orisa is better is. Um,
put
and
it in the
to be
comments.
clear, just to be fully clear, I don't endorse Gator's opinions around crypto and NFTs. He's kind of weird in that front. Also, people dogpiling on him on that for being like a shit coach. Though, like he's a fine coach. It's a bit weird. He's an alright guy. Just a bit weird with NFTs.
We love a good NFT. We don't.
Hmm.
That was parody. No, that is a shame. And well, you know what? I'm great at transitions. Modern Warfare 3. That came
Amazing.
out two
I mean,
weeks ago.
okay, hang on, right. Well, let's just that's the VHS reversing.
Yep.
So, speaking of Activision, Modern Warfare 3. There we go.
Perfect. That came out a week ago.
Perfect.
That came out on the 10th. Oh, just under a week ago. That came out. Yes, it came out on the 10th. Sorry, I thought it was
It came out
Friday
6
today.
days
Good
ago.
lord.
Should we really get specific? 6 days.
Yeah, no, I was looking at
18?
the date. I was like, that wasn't a week ago. Yeah, it was. And that's had some interesting storylines. I know none of you give a shit, but I've been playing it. And you know what? Before we even start, I do have to ask a certain someone here. I saw that you put a screenshot of you watching Ray playing Modern Warfare. Did you ever complete
Oh,
that?
right.
And if so,
Yeah.
what did you think of it?
Honestly, for the most part, fine. Nothing like honestly, just like as fine as 1 or 2, minus a few levels. And I
Okay.
don't know how much we want to go into spoilers or more details about how the missions work, but it was very clear that some of them either were intended to be a DLC or should have been like a Warzone DLC perhaps rather than a Modern Warfare 3 campaign.
That's completely reasonable. I
Mhm.
will say spoilers are. I'm going to put a massive thing saying spoilers because the story has been out for 2
Oh, actual
weeks.
editing.
Um, the story came out a week before the game. The story came out on the 2nd.
Yes, yeah.
So people have had more than enough time to have either played it, seen it, or heard about it.
So before we do that,
Do
I will
you
just
care, Agent Oink?
oh no, I don't personally care, but I will interject. Skip to this time if you don't want spoilers.
Cool.
There
And
you
now
go.
could you
I
just
can
say
even more
could
editing.
you say every second of every minute for it so then I can edit that in?
Yeah.
Cool.
Strong start.
um
Okay.
So yeah, the biggest gripe, the biggest thing people have had about this new game is the
Yeah,
fact
I've
that
not
it's
seen anyone's reviews, so I'll be interested to.
okay. So the biggest problem with this game, and a lot of people have all agreed on this, is that the actual gameplay in the single player is just lazy. It is.
But it's the same as like Modern Warfare 1. I don't know how people reviewed Modern Warfare 1 and 2. It's the same beyond, again, those couple of missions where they did something different. And at first it was cool, but it very quickly got old and boring. And I think made for worse story.
I can
I
understand.
don't know why I'm saying
that.
it like that. We're doing spoilers. The open world or semi-open world. What did they call them? The
what did they
open
call it?
contract? Was it something stupid like that?
Isn't it just open
Um,
combat or something like that? It's
Open
like
combat. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, those
Yeah.
fucking things. At first, it was cool, and then it just like dragged on because they did multiple in a row, and then forgot about it again for the rest of the game. It really feels like they were just thrown in there, to me at
Yes.
least. And they should have been, like I say, a Warzone DLC or
if it
campaign.
was one or two of those missions every now and then,
Mhm.
and then you had cinematic
It'd have been better.
missions. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember the first Modern Warfare, you had the house mission where you go into a house in London to take out
Yeah.
certain individuals. If there was none of those missions in the new game, there was no cinematic mission. It was all just, hey, here's an objective, go and complete it. And yeah,
Mm.
open world. I'm glad. I was worried it was going to be sort of, hey, here's here's a contract you have to complete, do it in any way, shape, or form, but here's no directive, because I feel like if they did that poorly, it could have really ruined the pacing of the game. Not saying that the
Yeah.
open world it did ruin the pacing anyway, but
I think it was a little bit lacking in direction from, again, just like watching Ray play. There were times where it was sort of, it told him what needed to be done, or if it did, it didn't tell him clearly, but it made it clear enough via an audio prompt from fucking Ghost or Price or whoever's talking to you in your ear, but
yeah.
didn't make it clear exactly how that could be done, what would or wouldn't work. And it led to Ray just like running into things that didn't work. Of course, he's fine with it.
What did you think of the actual story
Um,
and we're talking about spoilers anyway, and the ending?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are torn on how it was ended. I've seen.
Oh
I
shit!
don't
Yeah,
think
sorry,
I've
I
seen
just
any
remembered
good, to
the.
be completely honest about the ending.
No, you're right. Actually, that's fair. Yeah, the ending was. They're clearly hoping for more Modern Warfare. Is
Okay,
what I'm
so
guessing.
the whole Makarov lives. That felt.
No.
I could see that happening. It was the other element that they did, a certain character
yeah.
dying.
Yeah, that did feel a little bit sort of like, shit, people died in the original series. We need to start doing that.
Yeah, but the way they
Yeah.
did it made it feel like it could have been any character. The way they did the storyline, because playing it,
Yeah, I
the entire time
suppose.
playing it, a lot of us agreed that there was a lot of screen time for Price. So we all assumed Price was
Yep.
going to be the one that died, because typically in stories, if someone's got a lot, like an overly amount,
Well, they subverted your expectations.
but like that's what we all expected. I kind of expected Ghost to die because he died in Modern Warfare 2 in the original trilogy.
Yep, I was
Um,
fully expecting him to
and because
die
he
all
was a-
throughout the series.
Yeah, because he was a beloved character that was barely on screen in this game, I could see why they would do that.
They gave him sunglasses though.
I also fully expected Farah to die. Didn't expect
Ooh.
Shepard to die, especially in the way he did. That was a bit. Actually, have you seen the after credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was making sure, as I didn't know if Ray showed that.
Yeah.
That
I think he actually had
surprised
to reload it because he went to try and skip the end
I did
credits,
the
and in
exact
doing
same
that,
thing.
it skips the. Yep.
Yeah. I just went
Which
to the
is
cutscenes.
a
I was
weird
like,
choice.
okay, fair enough.
Yep.
That was that felt interesting from a story point of view. It felt like a character death that should have been in the main storyline, not an after credits.
Yeah,
I don't know why
absolutely,
it
yeah.
was involved in that point, because he is an important character in 2 of the games. So it's like,
Yeah.
why now? Is it because the way they've ended that game feels like they're not going to do a new one, at least story wise, because they've killed off
Ooh.
a really important. He should have been a villain in this game. Shepard should have been a villain, not a oh, we don't know what we're gonna do with you, but you're not gonna do anything sort of character.
Yeah, he was sort of like a weird half villain,
Yeah, but he
half
did
escort
nothing.
object. No, that's true.
Same with Graves. The whole Graves, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Thought I
Yeah.
was in the tank. Ooh. That kind of annoyed me. But yeah, no, the
Yeah.
story. I enjoyed the story as a Call of Duty fan. I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I got a bit tearful at the ending because Cassie's made me like that character more than I should. And it's just also just the whole banter between him and Ghost is funny, so don't get that anymore. But it just felt rushed. I heard rumors. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard rumors that the actor Neil had issues with cast members in the company and potentially either got let go, fired, or just left, which could be potentially why they killed him off and it was so rushed. That's unconfirmed. No information, no evidence to say that's true. I just down the grapevine, but would make sense in the situation of why the game's ended like that. Also, due to some reporters, we did find out that some developers were originally told this game was meant to be a DLC. And even when Modern Warfare 2 came out, we had information saying that the new game was going to come out 2 or 3 years' time, but there was going to be a DLC to carry on the storyline, which turned into Modern Warfare 3. As for the multiplayer, people are loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's actually a really good game.
Yeah, I've not seen any of that, but I imagine again it's just very much Call of Duty multiplayer. Like I'm not.
Yeah, it's different enough, in my opinion, from Modern Warfare 2 for it to be enjoyable. They've done a lot.
Right.
So this is the thing that they've done well, is Sledgehammer, the developer doing the multiplayer for this one, have listened and have done everything everybody's wanted, to the point where they've done weekly posts saying, here's what we're changing, here we're listening. They never did that with Modern Warfare 2. So that's what people are really enjoying. The fact they've listened and they're actually actively changing stuff for the community's benefit, which is something I'm a really big fan of. As a Call of Duty fan, I enjoy that. As any game fan, I like to hear that. But I'm interested to see where it goes. There are rumours for the seasons. This is going to go over all of your heads, I don't care. But there's rumours for the seasons that... So I'm really excited for seasons because of the rumours. I want this to be true. It's supposedly going to be... Each season is going to be a previous COD game. So the example they gave in the leak was... Season 1 will be Ghost, so you'll get a couple Ghost guns, a couple Ghost maps will come back, and some other things. Season 2 will be Black Ops 1, so you get a couple Black Ops 1 maps, a couple Black Ops 1 guns, and cosmetics and shit. And that will carry on. I'm a big fan of that because it is I'm a nostalgic geek. I fucking love anything that takes me back to when I was a kid. And they were fun games in my childhood, so it would just be something I would like just out of nostalgia and enjoyment. It would also make sense because they've completely gone off the Call of Duty's realistic. I'm glad because it's not realistic. And they're just playing on the whole, hey, this is a fun game. It's sort of like Fortnite. It's just, we can do what we want. We're going to have fun with it. And I like to see that. It's just if they don't fuck it up and ruin it. Yeah, that's what I have to say on that. The zombies is good fun. I'll say that much. And we don't know about Warzone because that comes out in like 2 months. Thanks.
Warzone.
I know.
In the interest of balance, I will note
That's a shame.
that multiple developers of the game claim that it did indeed start as a DLC. However, themselves, the company, deny that. From a statement from the CEO, they said it was always developed as a separate game.
Yeah.
Activision also deny it.
It's
So it means that it was definitely developed as a DLC.
Yeah.
If like 20 ex-developers are like, yeah, it was a DLC.
If they're saying that now, and we had rumors when Modern Warfare 2 came out that the new game was going to be a DLC to the storyline, that more or less confirms that Modern Warfare 3, the story was a DLC, but then who knows how long into its development they went, actually, let's make it a full game. We don't know. But yes, that is the unfortunate truth that it was, and to be completely honest, from my point of view, when Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was fully okay with the next game coming out in a couple years' time and them just carrying on the storyline as like a, I don't know, like a £10, £15 DLC. No more, no less, that's all you got. I would have been happy with that, but who knows? That's an alternate universe for What If Season 2 to imagine.
So, just to
Yeah.
add this specific bit in, because this relates to a lot of what I understand. Some of the mismanagement from the higher up in Activision that affected Overwatch and Overwatch 2
Some
and
of,
the
isn't it
direction of
all
that game.
mismanaged?
It's I mean, fuck Bobby Kotick.
Yeah,
like
sorry.
there's a lot of.
Can I just interject? How the fuck is he still in that company?
I don't know, because someone's not put a gun to his head and fucking accidentally game ended him in Call of Duty Vanguard yet. That's a joke, by the way, Bobby.
Random game.
Anyway, yeah, like there was a load of like rumors around like the mismanagement and how that impacted the development of Overwatch, and I won't go to specifics, but like it fucked the devs over on a colossal scale. And I'm not talking about mismanagement just from like anyone upper. I mean, like, we know in the case of Overwatch directly from Bobby himself. He directly instructed people to work on projects and then directly cancelled them, right? And wasted months of development work on, like, which is just fucking sucks. The official statement, or like the not the official statement, that's the wrong term. The picture that is painted by the ex devs, and this is corroborated by over a dozen different devs that all say this is the exact path that happened. It was meant to be a DLC set exclusively in Mexico, and it was meant to fit in a short development cycle to go in between Modern Warfare 2 and the next major Call of Duty release. However, last summer, Activision executives instructed the team to make a full sequel, and it would be global in its mission scope. So I don't know anything about the missions. I've not watched any content on the game because I don't really care. But from what you sound like, it definitely sounds like you could identify missions that were like either a part of the DLC or a part of the base game, and like which area of that development period they came from, effectively, right? So it sounds to me like there was a very sudden mismanagement in that, like, a lot of that story content probably just like wasn't meant to be there at
Yeah.
all.
I will say this: there's no missions in Mexico.
Awesome.
They
I mean,
could have
that's something
reused
that
some
can
of
change
that.
fairly early.
Yeah.
That's the original plan. So
I could see why they did that because there was a huge plot line in Modern Warfare 2 based in Mexico. That would have been really cool to see that DLC, but no. So, yeah, no, that's unfortunate. But I'm just glad to see the multiplayer's doing well as a Call of Duty fan. I'm enjoying it. It's something Activision is somewhat. I'm not going to credit Activision in any way, shape, or form for how the game came out. Sledgehammer did a really good job on the multiplayer. And what's one of the other company names that I fucking love the name of? I think it's like Toys for Bob or something like that. They're a great developer. So yeah, that was the Call of Duty segment. Is there?
developed in 16 months, by the way.
What was that? Sorry.
Developed in 16 months.
Christ.
It's half the time of a usual Call of Duty
I was going
development
to say they
cycle.
normally do it in about 3 years because they have a 3 year development cycle. So like if Treyarch made a game, then Infinity Ward would do the next one, and then Raven or
Mm.
Slam Hydra would do that one. So then that gives 3 years for Treyarch to then do the next one for when their game comes out. So on for each company, each developer. But it seems like this one was rushed into it. It also feels like, and this is something I don't personally like. I don't know. You would have to, as a person more understanding than I am when it comes to developing in the development world, I don't like the idea that all of these companies are working on one game. I like the idea that Treyarch did one, Infinity Ward did one, Raven did one, because it made them all unique in their own way. But at the moment, it feels like they're all going in the sense that all of the companies are working on it in their own manner. Is that beneficial as a developer to work as a team and do that, or would it be better to have those 3 years as a smaller team to work on a game and release it and do that every 3 years, sort of thing?
I don't like I don't know like too much specifics in the Call of Duty world, but I don't think it's like majorly a problem to like either way. Like I think both systems could work. The core problem with like the development in the Call of Duty world is just it seems to be mismanagement and crunch
Mm,
from an perspective. Like if this game had been developed in like fucking 30 months instead of 16, I reckon it might be a bit better.
yeah.
Um, if the game had been developed in a better system, it probably also be better. I mean, there's specific like this article with like interviews from some of the devs and that. Um, if it basically says that multiple ex devs expressed direct frustration towards Infinity Ward executives for being incredibly slow at giving feedback, taking weeks to respond to something, and then telling them they need to change it while they were working to that incredible crunch, working weekends and most nights for like the whole period of the game's development
Mm,
because you just can't make a game that fast. Like it's just not a reasonable thing for a team that size. So, like, I don't know. I'm not sure that like that, like the sort of divided system matters as much as just like generally eliminating those issues and letting things take more time would just solve a lot of that. I think.
no, that's perfectly said. Well, that's our 3 topics for today. Is there any last things anybody wants to get off their chest? Anything that's just come up? Any breaking news? We have about 10 minutes left, so I'm just curious.
Ooh, breaking news.
What's that?
I'd have to look at the news.
Oh, I thought you had breaking news. The way you said that.
God, I
Breaking
hope so.
news. I don't have any breaking news.
No.
Delicious.
Now,
You haven't. Oh,
all of my breaking news would be political. That's the problem.
yeah. No, we're not going to get any.
You've banned me.
Bloody
Yes.
hell.
You've threatened me with a gun. So
No, I haven't. Like, unfortunately, they're all down at the shop.
in Call of Duty,
Oh,
it's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, you haven't said that much delicious apart from that last lovely storyline conversation. Anything you're
Yeah.
excited about? Are you looking forward to anything coming out in the next couple of weeks? War Thunder, riling,
I don't know.
like annoying you?
No, War Thunder's been doing okay. The updates have been fairly good and positive for the most part. I guess we got the Game Awards coming up soon. I've not voted yet, but I don't know. I feel like I know less about the games that have come out this year than I have in
I
previous
actually can't.
years.
I feel like it's going to be Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate.
I do need
It's
to
not
try
in
that.
it's not in that many categories, to be fair.
Thank God.
The ones it's in, it does deserve to win pretty
Yeah,
much. But it's
I'm
not
not
in
saying that
many.
it doesn't deserve the win. It's like everything I see is Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I've
So-
voted in the Game Awards twice because I wanted to change one of my votes, and I logged in and my votes weren't there, and I was like, "Wait, is that not how this system works?" And it just, so I didn't know if it didn't
Yeah.
save the first time round, or if it just doesn't save your votes and you can't go back and change one.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the Game Awards. They always it'll be interesting, and I love. Well, fucking, what's the guy that presents his name? Jeff.
Jeff Keighley, how do you not know
Oh,
Jeff
Jeff
Keighley's name
Keighley.
off the top of your head?
Oh, he's a great man.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
what's he done now?
he receives a lot of criticism for
Big
on
fella.
one hand being like one of the more positive influences in the games industry, and in the past having spoken up about problems and systemic issues in the industry. but also at the same time, obviously running an award show like the Game Awards, he gets criticized for the way in which he talks about it and hype stuff, and he's tweeted stuff like this is the best year like ever for gaming in a year that's had like the most layoffs in the games industry in like 10 years, right? Well, I think it's like 7,000 developers have now lost their job in the past like 2 months.
Christ. Yeah.
Like it, you know. So like there's a lot of that stuff, which yeah, he's all right. He's very funny. I like Jeff Keighley a lot to look at him and laugh at him when he does stage presentations, and then weird shit happens on stage because
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
people
again
run
every
on.
time they do one of these bloody shows, they seem to have a stage that's like a 1 millimeter piece of paper that's just like, and then anyone can just step up onto it, and there's no security. I don't know why these events are like this, but they always are. Yeah, I'm
Hey.
excited for Game Awards. I'll go into more detail on the next podcast because I was banned from doing it on this one.
Oh, I know what we're so I was thinking about this. I know how I said we should do it before, but I feel like we should do it after so we could go really in depth on what actually happened.
But I want to talk
What do
about
you
who I
reckon?
think should win each category.
Well, we
I
can
want to
still
I want to
talk
get it in.
about that.
No, because you've got to do it before, because otherwise people will think that I've been influenced by the results.
Oh, we'll stream
I can't
it.
be like, oh, Baldur's Gate should be Game of the Year after Baldur's Gate is Game of the Year. Like, I mean, no one would have seen that coming. It would sound like I'm just listen to them.
We'll stream. I want to stream the awards whenever it
We can
is.
stream them. I'm down to stream them.
That'd
That'd
be
be
fun.
fun.
And then we could do a podcast talking about what actually happened on the night, what we think of the results, what we think we should have won, and then I could just put citations to what you said in the stream, so then people don't think you were changed your mind over the actual result. Influence. There we go.
Yes.
Esports Coach of the Year, Gunber. Just saying.
Esports Coach of the Year, Jeff Keighley.
True.
Right. Okay. Well, that was an interesting episode. I want to try and get more like this where we actually put topics down. I might try and get a topic that Delicious will talk about. I can't remember.
We should do a topic on Delicious, the YouTube channel.
Yes, we'll do a review of the
God.
entire channel.
Video per video. That's that. So it's going to be a video per podcast episode, and that's the entirety of season 3, guys.
I have a good idea. I have a special idea for Christmas. I genuinely do. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But
Excited.
But yeah, no. This has been an interesting episode. Next episode's going to be episode 50. Well, I'll see what we could do. Oh, that'll be the Game Awards. Yeah, that'll be that'll be a fun episode. So yeah. Thank you very much, you two, for being here. As always, I always do appreciate your time.
Damn.
And on that note, we're going to call it a night. As always, have a good evening, good day, good night, or good morning. And we'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra.
Still need to do a London podcast.
We'll do it in Birmingham.